What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Greg Kampe Show. We are live at Patti Finnegan's here on the golf course on the campus of Oakland University. My name is Neil Rule. Of course, he is a coach, Greg Kampe. And, Camp, what's going on, man?
I'm disappointed, really disappointed. And it's not about losing a game. It's about the way we played and the way we competed. And a lot of people are coming up to me and saying, yeah, but, man, what a comeback. And those things shouldn't happen. I just was really, really disappointed. And I don't have an answer, so you can say what you want to me about that. I do not have any idea why the first 10 minutes of that game went the way it did. I thought we were prepared. I thought we were ready. We have a crowd there that's like the old days that, I've been begging people. That's how you were there. That's how that arena pre-COVID used to be in January, February. Every weekend, and Thursday nights were always student nights, and the weekends were always, the older people, I guess, or the people that buy the real seats. Those they were in. So it's kind of cool that it was back. I thought the atmosphere was unbelievable. I hope that they realize that the fans are smart enough, the students and all the people that were there that aren't there every game like everybody in here is, were smart enough to understand this is a really good basketball team, and it was just a bad night, a bad night in January. And boy, that was a lot of fun, and how loud it was in there, and it was one of the coolest things that you can do on our campus, to be honest with you.
Right.
To get that type of community spirit about our university and our campus. That was a, watershed moment, and it should be like that most every time we play. And we got to play better. We will. I'm not concerned or worried about that. I'm just disappointed that it happened, and I'm disappointed that, defensively we were just pitiful. Just pitiful. I can't use any other words. My players know I feel that way. I would tell you that if you polled them, they would tell you. They might have different reasons than I have, but they would tell you the same thing. It was awful. And so we move on.
The Greg Kampe Show is brought to you by Henry Ford Sports Medicine, the official team physicians for Oakland University and you. For more info, visit henryford.com/athlete. Coy Thurman will be our guest coming up in about 15 minutes from now. You can get involved with the show as well. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you can jump in there with an Ask Kampe question. You can go on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I still call it Twitter, but use the hashtag Ask Kampe. We have some of those that are coming in right now. We'll get to those coming up around 6:30 or so, a little bit after 6:30. But Camp, it was an entire weekend at Oakland as we finally got some home games on Friday.
Friday night was fantastic.
Friday night was a lot of fun.
Crowd.
Yeah, let's talk about Friday.
Had a crowd Friday night, good students crowd. Sunday it was on national TV. I think that's probably even more because we have all our kids out there that we're recruiting, and hey, you get a chance to see a game on the blacktop Friday night on ESPN. We need you to watch, to check in. And the good of that is if I'm a kid out there and watch that, I want to play in that environment, right? And boy, they're not very good, so I can play there, right? I'm sure that's what they're thinking. But it was great that, the environment, and we told them, what it would be like. And but for me, that wasn't Oakland basketball for the nation to see. Now, hopefully those same people saw the Purdue game and they saw the state game and all the other games we played on national TV. And they get a chance to watch us Thursday night. We're on ESPNU Thursday night. So, that's the great thing about this is it's never over till it's over, right? You get another opportunity. That's the great thing about sports and athletics and being on a team. And, we get to pick ourselves up. And one of the things I've told them from day one is, in this, when you're going through the course of a season, around every corner something bad is waiting. And what do you make out of that bad? And, we were rolling. We were rolling, playing great, feeling great about ourselves and everything. And we came around on Sunday around the corner and we ran into a hurricane or whatever you want to call it.
Buzzsaw, yeah.
And we got to pick ourselves up and we get another chance Thursday and And you know, one of the worst things for me about Sunday was after the game, I had been booked to be on television on the final edition or Sportsworks or whatever that is on Fox 2. And I had to go on there and talk about the game. And it was a hard thing for me to do because of the way we played. But one thing I said there, which I'm sure if you watched it, there are some people that probably scratched their head after watching that game. I said, look, I know my team can win the championship in this league. I know we can win the tournament championship. And I know we're good enough to win games in the NCAA tournament. And that's how we're going about our business. And that's what we're going to do. We had a great practice today. We had long conversations about it. It's over, and we're moving on.
I was going to ask you about that, Camp. Like, yeah, we're talking about the macro, like the game itself. What about how do you deal with that? How do you deal with film? Is there stuff that you show? How much do you talk about it?
We will not touch that game unless we play them in the postseason, and then we'll pull out clips from it. We've moved on. We didn't show them. We moved on to Milwaukee today, and our whole focus is to go to Milwaukee and win. And if we beat Milwaukee, our whole focus will be to go to Green Bay. And if we lose to Milwaukee, our whole focus, it's that same one hurdle at a time deal. And Sunday was one hurdle we knocked down. And I believe that. But I also have the emotion of having been here for so many years and knowing how important, from a visual, the optics of Sunday, that's what I'm upset about.
Right. And it's just going to take another game and another win, right, to kind of flush that out?
No, as soon as we board that plane tomorrow, I'll be fine. I mean, it's over.
But up until then
yeah,
it burns a little, right?
Yeah, well, and I need that because it's motivation and practice. You know, Purdue was number one in the country, and Iowa State came into their place, and they beat them by 30 points.
Yeah, they were up a lot.
And you ask Matt Painter about it, and his statement was, this probably will help us because there's been a little bit of erosion in everything we do. We start feeling that we're really good, and we start taking a few shortcuts in practice, and we start doing this, and we don't watch enough film. We don't follow the scout well. All those little things that erode during the course of a marathon season. Games like this refocus you. And that's what we talked about with the team today. And I believe it will. Like I said, I think this team's really good. I think it's got a chance to be great.
This is the Greg Kampe Show. Here we are live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University. And, again, you can get involved with the show. See people jumping into X and Twitter, dropping questions in there. We will get to those. But Camp, I guess, so, I mean, you addressed it, right? Like, you are on to Milwaukee. And that is the way that this works. And, like, look, I've always talked about this. I've talked about this with, obviously, college athletes, college coaches, professional athletes, all of it. When you have a 35-game season, they call it like a 5 to 10% rule, where you're going to have games like every team does. Literally every single team in the nation does. Michigan had one of those. Like,
but
it happens.
You hope that it's against not the championship level teams in your league.
Right.
You hope that it's against the lower level teams, and you find a way to hang on and win by one or win. And when you do it, when you're playing against the top teams, that hurdle's kind of a double hurdle. Because if you win, they knock one down, and if they win, so you don't want those games here. But it was definitely that. And if you just think back 2 years ago, we played that same Wright State team the second to last weekend of the year. And they came in here and they beat the living crap out of us. And we're in first place. We had a 2-game lead. That cut it to 1. The following Wednesday night, we beat, I think it was Indy, to win the league. And then on Saturday, we played Detroit, who might only had 2 wins all year. I think maybe that was 1 win they had all year.
Right.
Yeah. And they took us to the wire. Trey Townsend scored with 30 seconds to go to win the game on senior night. And then we cut the nets down, right? We'd already won the championship, but, we wanted to win it outright. If we'd have lost, we'd have tied with Youngstown. We'd have been the number 1 seed because we beat Youngstown twice. But it's still – and we played that bad on that Saturday, those back-to-back Saturdays in the season. And then from that point on, I mean, we were one of the top 20 teams and 30 teams in the country. I mean, we proved it in the NCAA tournament, right? The loss to get us out was an overtime to a team that went to the Final Four. So that's just how the ebbs and flows of a season goes. And, you know, this game, like I said on TV, nobody's going to remember this night except the real hardcore fans when we're talking in 2 years. Well, yeah, you know, a couple of years ago we won a championship, and look what happened in this game in January, you know. It's all about what's coming and what's ahead of you, and all the goals that we have are there to be achieved. So we just got to play.
Camp, Wright State, I talk about this with Associate Head Coach Jeff Smith on the pregame show a lot when we preview the game that night. Wright State, you know, Scott Nagy was there. Obviously, they had incredible highs, and they're always up at the top. It's just the way that they are. What is it? You know, obviously Clint Sargent comes in. It's a different coach, but the program remains the same there at Wright State. What is it about some programs in this league?
They took a dip last year. I mean, they finished 7th or 8th last year, and they got beat in the opening round of the tournament, things like that. So there's ebbs and flows in every program. You know, we take a lot of pride in the fact that I think since we've been in the Horizon League, 6th place is the worst we've ever been. You know, we've been in the top half of the league 13 of the 14 years we've been in the league. We've won 10 games every, you know, double-digit wins in conference play every year but one. We've had first-team all-leaguer every year, but, you know, we take a lot of pride in that and the consistency of what we do. And I'm sure Wayne State does too. In Northern Kentucky, you know, the three of us are the, you know, historically at the top of the league. And then, you know, Youngstown, Jared Calhoun got there, changed their culture. And they've been for 3 or 4 years now. So you've got to start, you know, it's just the way college basketball rolls, you know. And with the transfer portal and all the new stuff, who knows who can stay up there? I mean, it's a little different than it used to be because you're not taking guys from freshman, sophomore, and building a roster where you're always going to be good. Because you could have to completely start over like we did this year. And so it's different. But I think you got to give Clint a lot of credit. They lost 2 really good players. They got a kid that was on their team last year that's playing at Ohio State, and they've got another kid that's playing at Peoria. What's this? Bradley University. And so those are 2 big-time programs they got kids playing at, and they've rebuilt. And it's a little bit too early to give anybody, you know, too many accolades because there's a lot of time left. I mean, we've played 7 games. There's 13 left.
Yeah, and what I was driving at, because I was going to bring us into that equation too, is like there is an identity to the program. There's like a sustained, for the most part, 90% of the time, there's like a sustained success to it. How does that work? How have you done that here, like through all this time?
I got, you know, the one good thing, I think, if you look back through the years, we have really good players that are really good kids that are also really good students. You know, I mean, we had a meeting today, a staff meeting, a head coaches meeting, and we saw some unbelievable academic numbers. My team, I think, last semester, all the semester numbers came in. I think my team last semester was a 3.02 or 3.05 as a team. And of our 16 teams or whatever we have, we were second to last or third to last.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... And in our athletic department, I think they said there's 325 athletes and 287 of them were above a 3-point. And I think there were only 25 athletes that were 2.5 or below, only in the semester.
Which is less than 10%. Yeah.
And so I think
way less.
81%, I know this for a fact, 81% have an accum, not just one semester, their accum, their whole college, above a 3-point. 81% of the athletes at Oakland. And I think that is why we win. I really do. We've held true to that for years and years and years. Good people that are good players that want to be good students and want to go out to the real world. And you know, I think that's how we've consistently been good in basketball, but in swimming and in soccer and in all our sports. I think that you know, I think we've had great coaches here and great administrators, and we get great support. But I think we get that support because of those stats I just gave. 81% have an accum of over 3-point. You know, that's crazy.
Speaking of that support camp, before we do cut to the commercial break, are our fans stuck in there.
Yeah, they didn't leave, did they?
I talked about that during the broadcast. And
I thought maybe they wanted to rush the court and kill me at the end of the game. That's why they stayed.
Turns out they didn't. You're still with us.
Yeah.
So it turns out they didn't do that. But because you said it. I mean, it was 41-14.
It was awful.
Yeah, I mean
that first 12 minutes of the second half.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it was bad.
As bad as it's ever been in that building.
Yeah, but everyone stayed, and then it gave you that. I kind of sensed that a comeback was brewing just because the people almost kind of willed it because nobody left. Like everybody stayed there, and
it got loud.
And it got loud, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to all the fans, man. They did. It wasn't a good night, obviously, but everybody stuck. Everybody stuck it out, man. So shout out to all of you guys out there. It really, really was. It really, really was incredible. So, all right, Camp, let's do this. We'll take the first break. When we come back, I'll be joined by Coy Thurman, and he will be our guest here on the Greg Kampe Show. Get your questions in on X, Twitter, the YouTube stream, whatever you are doing. We'll be back with more of the Greg Kampe Show. We're live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Greg Kampe Show. We're live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University. Right now, as promised, we are joined by Coy Thurman, point guard here for the Golden Grizzlies. Give it up for Coy, everybody. Good to have you with us here, my friend. And Coy, I guess basically I want to start here. Your freshman year, you played at Purdue Fort Wayne. Then you transferred to Panola College. You were a JUCO Division I All-American. What was your road to Oakland? What went into the decision process and you making your way here to Oakland?
I would say just playing it day by day. Obviously, in my freshman year at Fort Wayne, I didn't play the minutes that I thought I could play. And then I went JUCO just to bet on myself. And, I thought I can, work on my game to get where I'm at now. And I think Coach Smitty did a good job of just, coming to, he showed a lot of, support, just coming to see me, days before games and stuff like that, and just always making sure that I knew, Oakland was a spot for me.
Coy, what about coming here to Oakland? And this is a question that I ask everybody that has kind of come in. You know it because you lived it, and we see it, the schedule, obviously, that we play here, and we're in a stretch. ESPN2, ESPNU, there's been tons of national TV exposure as well. Is that something that goes into that decision process when you're deciding where to go?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I want to play the best people, best teams, best coaches, just to see where I'm at. And then, obviously, that's my goal as a person. I want to be at the highest level at the end of the day. And those may be some of the players that I play in the future. So just having that opportunity to play them was just like a blessing. And it was definitely one of the main reasons I came here.
So, Coy, what about off the court? You and I have talked before, and you talk about the fact that the guys, you just kind of hang out. You guys, you do movies, maybe go to the mall. You just do, college student stuff, right?
Yeah. I think that it shows on the court. Sometimes like last game, it didn't go our way, but the way we handled adversity, I think some stuff like that shows off the court and on the court, and it carries on to the court as well. So I think we do a good job of just bonding off the court and just trying to translate that on the court as well.
How do you guys do that? I've always been fascinated by this. So things aren't going your way out there. You guys and athletes in general, you have this, I don't want to call it weird, but it is almost weird for somebody who doesn't understand it. No matter how badly things are going, you give up a basket or whatever, say a mistake happens, you guys give up an easy basket, you inbound the basketball, then boom, it's into the next play. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like it's forgotten, but then again, I guess it kind of is, it is forgotten, right? How does that work?
I think it's just having the next play mentality. Rather the ball goes our way, whether we make shots. I think at the end of the day, Oakland basketball it's at its best when we play hard, we play together. And I try to do my best to remind all the players to, even if we have a bad game, we are capable of playing hard on defense and trying to get it going and finding a rhythm to get going as well.
What's been your favorite moment so far here at Oakland, or one of your favorite moments? And I know it's kind of difficult. You're in the heat of it right now, where you're focused on the next game and you want to get on to Milwaukee and move on from the Wright State game and stuff like that. But what's some of your favorite moments so far here being at Oakland?
Definitely that Youngstown game. Just for me, it was good for me because I got to play in front of my family because I live in Ohio now. And then obviously we were down 13, I believe, and it just showed that we are a team that's capable of being greedy and being able to play defense and play hard and showing what we are really capable of doing if we really put it together for 40 minutes. So I think we did a good job of just, staying the course, taking it play-by-play, media by media, and just let us play Oakland basketball.
All right, we have a Ask Kampe question here, but the players are asked as well. This comes from Gary Gilbert, journalism professor here at Oakland. How do players and coaches spend the hours between games? So for those that don't know, we'll fly out tomorrow evening-ish. We'll fly over to Milwaukee. We'll take the bus. We'll go over to the hotel. Obviously, the game is the next day. What about that? We have a shoot-around during the day. Mm-hmm. We go over to the arena. What are you guys doing in between? And I know it's different for everybody. Coy, what are you doing in between those hours?
Obviously, we try to get focused for the game, but I don't think we really worry too much. We just, at the end of the day, we play a game. We want to go have fun. So we keep a lot of stuff basketball talk, but we don't want to worry too much on the game because we trust what our coaches have for us and what the scout is and what the game plan is. So we just go out there and just focus on what we can do to win.
All right, Coy, I got to ask you this then. Your living arrangement. You live on your own. You have an apartment? Yeah, you have your own apartment. So I have to ask you this because I remember when I got my first apartment. Are you cooking and stuff like that?
Yeah. Actually, I just learned how to cook last week. So
okay. All right. Well, you know what? Enough of the basketball stuff. Yeah. What was the very first thing you cooked?
My mom. She got it. She tells me how to make a steak.
Okay.
I did pretty well for the first one, but it's going to take some time. It was good for me for the first one, for sure.
All right. Okay, take us through it. Give us the Coy Thurman steak recipe, I guess.
See, I don't know if I can repeat it, but I don't.
Do you know?
My mom kind of carried me through the process.
Were you FaceTiming?
Yeah, I was FaceTiming, and she just telling me what to do. So I don't really remember that much, but all I know is I was just doing what she told me.
See, that's the thing. Moms know they don't go by. There's no measuring cups or anything that.
Yeah.
There's no teaspoons or tablespoons or anything. Mm. It's a pinch. It's a touch. It's stuff like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
She's telling me it just seasoned a little bit, and she'll tell me when to stop. So I was like, all right, I'll go by.
Quote a little bit. Yeah. Well, hey, Coy, you got the rest of your life, man. You'll get that steak locked in, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you rate it if you had to give it a 1 to 10? What's the Coy Thurman steak review?
For the first one, I'd give it a 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah. 7.5. Yeah. It wasn't bad. I think if I gave it to people would definitely eat it.
Okay.
I'll come back and
I would eat it.
Yeah,
I would tell you that, Coy. Yeah, for
it.
sure. How did you cook it? What are you, medium, well?
I'm a medium well guy.
Medium well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to see when I first came here. I used to be a well done guy. then my teammates got on my back for it.
They will clown you on that stuff, man.
Yeah. So I had to switch over to medium well.
Well, don't feel bad because my wife likes it well done. So when I grill steaks, like I like mine medium, and I always end up cooking mine too long because she wants it well done. So it's a good thing, Coy, that you've evolved.
I like it.
So did you do any sides, or was it the classic? I'm cooking for the first time. I literally just make a steak and put it on a plate.
I just came with steak this time. Because I just wanted to see. I didn't want to have any sides and just throw the whole.
Well, you don't want to burn the place down either, right? If you're cooking potatoes or you got some vegetables going, man, that can be distracting.
Yeah, definitely. That was my problem with cooking. I was scared that I would, pay attention to what was going on the other side.
All right. So what's the next steak look like? Do you think? Are you going to add something to it? Are you going to try some sides? Where are we going to go?
I think I'm going to add some sides to it. Maybe like some mashed potatoes, some broccoli.
Okay.
Something just chill.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Are you going to FaceTime mom again? Or are you gonna,
always got to FaceTime mom.
You have to, man. You absolutely have to. Coy, this basketball team, and look, Kampe and I were talking a lot about the Wright State game, but the moral of the story is this, tied for second in the Horizon League. Things are still right there in front of us. This team, we've seen it. We've seen this team play very, very well, get things cooking in all types of environments, in Montana, in the arena, in everything. I think sometimes we, like as fans, we probably linger over stuff more than I would imagine players do, because I talk about that next play mentality. Like when a mistake is made, you accept it and you move on. Everything's still in front of this team, right?
For sure. We got a lot of games out of us. Like Kemp said, it's one hurdle. We may have tripped over it or, didn't get the outcome that we wanted, but we still have Milwaukee, we still have Green Bay, and those are two good teams that we have ahead of us, and those are must-wins, especially on the road, to get us going coming back this way.
All right, Coy, how about this? The chef here is elite. They have elite food here at Patti Finnegan's. Maybe link up with, he's right over there against the door. Maybe link up with him. He'll get you a nice mashed potato recipe or something like that, and you can get it going, all right?
Thank you.
Coy, good rapping with you, brother. Coy Thurman, everybody, here on the Greg Kampe Show. We'll be back with more live from Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
Kampe Show, we're live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University. My name is Neil Rule. He is the coach, Greg Kampe. If you want to get involved in the show, now is your time to shine. Go to X, go to the YouTube stream as well with the hashtag AskKampe. Get your questions out there. Camp, you got to get Coy on your mashed potatoes, man.
Yeah, I think I should teach him. I don't know if he likes spice, though. We'll find out.
Okay.
But I think everybody here can see what when we went to commercial, what I was talking about our kids and how do you sustain winning. We've had all these guys come and they speak every week, and there's just a completely different personality in almost every one of these young men that come in. And, I didn't know Coy was that good with the microphone, so.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring him back.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but that's been a theme, though, Camp. You know, there is a commonality of that. There is, no doubt. You ready to ask some questions, Camp?
Sure.
All right, let's get to it then with the hashtag AskCampy. Pittsburgh Marty's going to kick things off. Camp, you've been doing this for 42 years. You talk about how you don't want one loss to become two to become three, etc. What are the strategies you use to motivate athletes to prevent this from happening, or do you just take it one game at a time?
Well, I think Coy spoke it. You know, we really preach the next play mentality, the next game mentality, that, you know, that you can't change what happens. You know, you can't go home and sit there and dream about if I would have. You can't have regrets. And if you prepare properly and you do, you know, if we have a saying, the last thing you see when you walk through our locker room, we'll step out onto the practice floor. There's a poster that says, everybody wants to be great until they find out what they have to do to become great. And it's my favorite saying in the world because it's true. And when you find out what you have to do, and that's overcoming adversity, that's getting your butt kicked and having to pick yourself up, that's all the extra work that you have to do. That's the film work you have to do. That's how you eat, how you sleep, how you live. All those things are not easy. And those are the things that you control leading up to when you get into the fight. And then when the fight goes bad, you fall back on those things to understand what you have to do. You know, if you're going to pout, and people that pout and people that, you know, can't pick themselves up, and when one does become two and two becomes three, it's usually people that aren't prepared. You know, it's usually people that want to make excuses, or they want somebody to tell them how great they are, and nobody at Oakland's telling these guys how great they are. Trust me. All right, they're becoming great on their own by doing what you have to do to become great.
Matt, who enjoys Horizon League basketball, hashtag AskCampy. There's a lot of idiots on social media, like me, who question three bigs on the floor and so much together. Can you tell us what you and the staff see? Is spacing and congestion in the paint not an issue? With an 8-man rotation, is subbing them out at different times an emphasis?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I've seen some of that on the media, and I've been asked that a couple times. I would say this. One of the things that I've heard was, well, our offense doesn't flow when the three bigs are out there. We have a top 20 offense in the country. We're averaging 93 points a game at home. We're averaging 87 points a game in league play. I don't know how anybody can look at us and say our offense isn't flowing. Now, you want to talk about our defense? Okay. But of all the games we've played, the game Saturday or Sunday is the one everybody remembers, right? How bad we were and how bad we were in the first half. In that game Sunday, those three bigs played together for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 2 minutes and 30 seconds was all that I had the three bigs on the floor at the same time. Now, that wasn't because of me. That was because Isaac Garrett doesn't understand a couple things. All right? But he understands them now.
Oh, okay.
All right? So when I heard that, and I'm thinking to myself, everybody's mad about our team. Everybody's, people are mad about what just happened, and they look at it and say, well, why are those three guys playing together so much? They played together 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And again, the offense is, we're top 20 in the country. And, you look at the game Sunday, and we lost and everything was bad. But the pillars of our offense, the pillars of what we believe in offensively, we only turned the ball over 6 times. And we made more free throws than they shot. The two things that we live off of. We're not going to turn the ball over, and we're going to get to free throw line, and we're going to make free throws. We did that in that game.
You know how you get to the free throw line a lot, too, in college basketball? Give the ball to the bigs, right?
By having three bigs. Although Brody Robinson is
getting there a lot, too,
top
right?
10 in the country and getting to the line.
Or drive it like a
Yeah, but my point is that I don't know how anybody can question us offensively. Yeah, and we had 7 points with 9 minutes to go in the first half, I think. We still scored 84.
Right.
Right? So now let's look at defensively. The 2 games before Sunday, you could see this is who we are. The zone, in the last couple of years with all the transfers and all the turnover, the zone takes time and it gets better and better and better. And you go back to that Robert Morris game and that Cleveland State game, and you go to the second half of Youngstown, and we were really good on defense. Sunday, we weren't. We were awful. And we got to figure out why, and we got to fix it. Because we've shown that we can be really good. We got punked on Sunday. They out-physicaled us. They got every loose ball. They got all the rebounds. They scored at the rim without much resistance. That's on us, but it's not on anything on the lineup. And so when I hear that, one of the things I think I'm pretty good at is I listen to everybody. I
almost to a fault sometimes, right?
I've said that my prostate's bigger than my ego, and it is. Okay, and it's a good line, isn't it? It is. I'll listen to anybody, and when somebody says something that cares about our program, and we get a lot of this on Tuesday nights because people here really care, and they say something, I'm listening to what they say. I'm not giving them an answer before that what they're even done talking. And then I'll look at it. I mean, I go back and I say, well, maybe I didn't think of this, and I look at it. That thing, no. I don't know where anybody comes from. And if you're mad about Sunday, they played together 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Maybe if they'd played 32 minutes together, it'd been a different result.
Camp, you were talking about the turnovers. In terms of turnover percentage, like the percentage of possessions that you guys turn the ball over, top 25 in the nation. And like at this point, Camp, like it's not a good lucky stretch that you're playing. Like that's who you are.
We've played the hardest schedule in the country.
Right.
We've played at Houston. We've played Michigan State, 2 of the best defensive teams in the country. And we're averaging 87 or 88 points a game. We got a really good offense.
What is, I guess, and this is kind of a spin-off question of that, so flipping it around defensively, when you've encountered volatility defensively, because you talked about it, there was a 5-half stretch where everything was great, everything was running great with the zone and stuff like that. Through the years now, as we've been playing this defense for a few years now, when you've noticed there's been volatility or slippage, what's some of the commonalities, I guess, of what causes it? I'm not saying that this is what it is. I'm saying like throughout the years.
It's too complicated to explain, and that's why the zone is so complicated to explain, the terminology and what we do. But the simplicity of it is it usually comes down to playing hard, playing smart, and rebounding. And, people say to me, man, you give up a lot of threes. Well, that's because you can't get to the rim against us, and we don't foul. But before the game, they went 9 for 18 from the 3, 50%, which they had a hell of a game. They played great. We went into that game in league play, we were giving up 32% from the 3. I mean, that's top half of the country.
Yeah.
32% from the 3, that's top half of the country. Now, we give up a lot of threes because that's what they try and get against us. Because, it's hard to penetrate that thing, although it was really hard to penetrate. Wright State penetrated it like it was nothing because we didn't play well. But, we're going to give up some threes. What we do, Coy could tell you this. After the game, every 3 that's shot, was it contested? Was it lightly contested? Was it heavily contested? Who was it against? Did they contest it or didn't they? And every player sees everybody's stats. Oh, Coy gave up. I know you didn't, but you're here, so I'm counting on you.
There's a hypothetical, right?
Hypothetical. Yeah. Coy gave up 6 threes in the game. 2 were uncontested, 2 were contested and heavily, and 2 were lightly contested, and they made 3 of the 6. Every player sees those numbers. Rebounding, they have a percentage. Shot goes up. Did I do what I'm coached to do? In other words, not all the time, but like Coy's at Koi's at a certain position in the zone. His job might be to get to the nail. Isaac's at a certain position in the zone. His job is to hit somebody in the chest and find the ball. All those numbers are right there. Isaac didn't play very much, but I think he was 61% on that on Sunday. Well, you're not going to win if we're 61%. So to answer your question, it's that complicated because we've got to get all these numbers, all these stats, then we show it to them, and then we show them the film why and how and what you could do, and this is how to do it. Film work is really, really important in our business, and especially with kids today because that's how they learn. They don't learn through verbal. I mean, we call a timeout. I'm not going to name the player. We call a timeout with so many minutes in that game. We needed a basket, and I said to the player, I go, we're going to run choice pop. You're going to come wide open. And I told the guy who had the ball, you got to hit him immediately because I know how they're going to play this. And when you catch it, you're going to have to drop step with your right foot and you can dunk or lay it in. And I said that right there in the timeout. We came out, we went out, we ran the play. He came wide open. The guy got him the ball immediately. He was right there. And for some reason, he turned instead of drop stepping to the baseline, he turned into the middle of the floor and they blocked his shot. If he would have drop stepped, he would have dunked. Now, what I've learned is that everything's on their phone today, right? Mm-hmm. They don't communicate. They don't talk. They might go out and laugh and all that kind of stuff. But learning, it's visual for them because they played video games and everything's on their phone and everything. And so now I show that guy the play. He knows I was right. Now next time it'll work. But it didn't work in that game because it was all verbal in the timeout. And so to answer your question with a long answer, it's very complicated and it's not easy. It's not rocket science, but it's not easy. And it takes repetition and it takes a want, it takes listening, and it takes the guy understanding he's getting coached hard, and this is what we got to do to get better.
Gary Gilbert asked the question, you heard it earlier, for Koi. He talked about the players' end of it. What about your end of it, Camp? Take us on the road. How do the players and coaches spend the hours between games?
Well, I did a stupid thing Sunday as I said I'd be on TV because I thought we were going to win for sure. And so I had a buddy of mine opened a brand new restaurant. So I had to get to that restaurant by 6:30 because it was friends and family in downtown Detroit. Tell them how great it was, which it was really good. Medusa is the name of the restaurant. I would suggest you all go to it. It's tremendous. He is my friend, but he's not paying me to say that. So I went there. By 8:30, I was on TV. By the time I got back home, I was up till 4 in the morning watching film. I got up. I had an 8 o'clock dentist appointment. Got my teeth cleaned at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. I went to the bank. I paid my property taxes. I drove home. I watched 3 Milwaukee games and 3 Green Bay games. At 2:30, I went to bed. I woke up this morning at 6:30 because my dog was licking my face for some reason. I was in the office. No, I was at our staff head coaches meeting at 8:30. I went to practice. On the day of the radio show, I go with my friends and play cards at a cigar bar. I did that. I'm here, and I will be up till 3 or 4 in the morning watching Milwaukee tonight. So my job is to know everything Milwaukee's done. Because with 3 minutes to go in the game, I'm going to call a timeout. I'm going to run this play, and I'm going to tell them you're going to be wide open if you do this. The only way you know that is doing that work. Now, I will tell you that Jeff Smith and Bobby and Trey work harder than I do. They don't go to the cigar bar. They're in the office all day. And they're watching and watching and watching. And many of the films that they're watching right now, Gary, are next week we got Indy and Detroit. And, they're doing all their prep on Indy and Detroit right now. Because on Sunday, when we get home from Green Bay on Monday, we've got 30 minutes of film work with the players on IU Indy. And so it's a never-ending, but it's a job we love, and that's what we do. There's no going anywhere on the road. We get on the road. The guy that works the hardest of all of us is Colin, because he's got to make sure the meal's ready. He's got to make sure the bus is there. He's got to make sure this is there. He also helps with the scouting and all that. He's also very into the coaching aspect of it, because someday that's what he really wants to do. But he's got to put on top of all that everything he does. It's a non-stop. We don't sleep much. We don't. And I'm not. You ask a question, so I'm telling you. And if we tried to sleep, we couldn't. Because after what happened Sunday, I'm not going to sleep again for a while. You know? And the great thing about losses is it wakes you up and makes you even work harder.
Also here with the hashtag Ask Kampe, last couple seconds to get those questions in. Jimmy Kennedy, who is actually here tonight, was a part of the Oakland radio broadcast for a very, very long time. Shout out, good to see Jimmy here, by the way. Says, Coach, with Northern Illinois joining the Horizon League next season, are you and your coaches preparing for any potential scheduling changes down the road? That is a good question. Like, how is that going to impact league scheduling, et cetera?
Yeah, like I've told you before, I'm on the league committee that is in charge of scheduling. So, you know, we're working on that within the league. My view of it is I only want to play 20 games. I don't want to go to 22, the full round robin. I want to stay at 20 with the league. The NCAA is adding a game next year. I mean, not only are they adding a game, it looks like they're going to add an exhibition game, and it looks like they're going to allow you to go on a foreign tour every summer. Yeah, that's great, except that costs money. So what are you going to do, right? Well, I'm going to go recruit a kid, and I'm going to say, look, we can go to Italy next year, or I can pay you personally. What do you think they're going to say, right? So our foreign tour next year might be Toronto. You know, because we want to do that, because you get the extra 10 days of practice and you get to play 2-3 games on the tour. So now in the summertime, you get to actually find out more about your players. Our teams are always better every 4 years when we come back from the tours. They always are. So, you know, we're going to look at all that stuff, but the schedule itself was going to go to 32 non-league games, or 32 games total. If we stay at 20, that'll give us 12 instead of 11. If we move to 22, then we'll only have 9, and I don't want, financially that will hurt us if we move to 22. So I'm fighting to stay at 20. There are people in the league, you know, there are people in the league that want 22, and there are people in the league that want 18. I wanted 18.
Right.
You know, but I tried to compromise.
I think Coy will be fine with that foreign trip. He makes steak anyway. He doesn't make pasta, so he doesn't really need to go to Italy anyway. So, you know, Coy's on board with it. I think I speak for him.
London, Ontario.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do this, and let's take the last break of the show. Come back and take a look ahead to what's coming up this week. You're listening to the Greg Kampe Show. We're live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
up? The Greg Kampe Show, live from Patti Finnegan's here on the campus of Oakland University, at the Oakland University Golf and Learning Center. He is a coach, Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. And also, too, did want to take the time for a second. Rob Brooks, who is usually here every single week, it's his mom's 80th birthday today. So they went over there to have dinner. And so happy birthday. Happy birthday to Rob Brooks' mom out there as well. I know that they're listening. So big thanks for listening, as you always do. Camp, big week. Big bounce back opportunity for the team. ESPNU, by the way, on the TV Thursday. If you don't have ESPNU, obviously I'll have the radio call on the Odyssey app. And Camp, big game at Milwaukee. Is this about the time of the league year, right? As we kind of motor towards, start that push towards the middle part of the season. Now is about the time you start to see maybe some separation. Absolutely.
This is the separation will start right now. Milwaukee was picked to win the league, and they've been really hit by injuries. They had a kid before the league season started go out for the year. Their leading scorer is out for the year, and then their best big did not. I think they kept him out to play him Thursday against us. He hurt his shoulder, didn't play the second half, and then they stayed out of there playing one of the lower-ranked teams in the league at home, and I'm sure he'll play against us on Thursday. But it's going to be a war. We've ended their season the last couple of years. When we lost at Central Florida this year, the kid from their team from last year, they had two players on Central Florida that played last year. Stillwell said in the post-game afterwards, this game meant more to Themis and me because we owed this team. And so, we've ended their year 2 years in a row. They've got to get back on track. It's going to be a war. Their back is against the wall. Our back is against the wall. It's going to be a war Thursday night. I expect it to be one of the most physical, hard-fought games that we'll play all year.
Camp on the YouTube stream, Oakland Golden Grizzlies fan club just said hashtag LFG. I think we know what that means. So, big shout out for everybody watching on YouTube also. And then at Green Bay Camp on Sunday, this is another example of that little extra day of preparation. Normally this would be a Saturday trip, but the 2 o'clock game on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern at Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay plays Thursday or Wednesday night at Cleveland State. So they're not going to have somebody travel that far and then have to play on a back-to-back. If Green Bay had been at home on Thursday, then it would have been a Saturday game. I guess we're glad that when it was scheduled, I'm sure they were very worried that the Packers would be playing in the playoffs right, and that no one would be at our game. Actually, they probably would have moved the game if that had happened, which I probably would have wanted them to. So it's Sunday, and Green Bay's the surprise team of the league. I think they only won 2 or 3 games last year. They're already 5-2 in league play. They beat Northern Kentucky, who I think, my opinion through having played everybody was that Northern Kentucky was, the best team in the league that I felt. Obviously, Wright State proved that wrong. Well, I haven't proved that they're not. They just proved how good they were. I'm not saying that they proved anything. Northern Kentucky and them will play twice, so we'll see what happens. But Northern Kentucky, in my opinion, is a really, really good team. And Green Bay got up 22 on them and held on and won by a bucket at Green Bay. They've been very good at home. They beat Santa Barbara at home, who's one of the top mid-major teams in the country. And they beat Iona. Iona's, that's where Patino was before he went to St. John's. They built a tremendous program, and they beat them. For a team that won 2 games last year, you have to respect that. And I watched them on film, as I said, and I understand why they're winning. So it's not going to be easy.
What is different for them this year?
They can score. They can really score the ball. They got a NAIA or Division II player in that is phenomenal at driving and getting to the basket. They got another transfer in that is phenomenal at driving and getting to the basket, and they've always had a couple kids that could shoot it. They hurt our zone last year at their place. We had to go man-to-man against them. We're the only team all year that we went man-to-man against. So they can shoot the ball. Now they got 2 guys that can really drive it. our game's going to come down to, can they guard our bigs, and will our bigs play a good game?
Right.
If our bigs are on the bench with 3 stupid fouls or something like that, then they don't have to guard them, right?
They take themselves out, right?
Right. So that's the game's going to come down to us being able to score at the rim and them trying to stop that. And on our side of it, keeping the dribble penetration against their zone. And then hope that they don't bury threes. No, I don't mean hope. They came out against Northern Kentucky zone and they went 7 for 9 from the 3 to start the game. That's what we saw. I forget, at Wright State, that's what we saw.
We saw it Sunday too, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that can't happen, and we've got to be able to guard dribble penetration against them. But again, we haven't even talked to our team about them. Obviously, we're worried about a very well coached Milwaukee team.
Camp, you brought it up. Teams that have NAIA players, Division II transfers, and things like that. That's one of the things I think, Camp, from the transfer portal that we're seeing. There were a lot of guys that can play at different levels of this country the whole time, right?
Well, for people that were in this room that were with us when we were at the end of our Division II, I mean, we played Division II basketball in our first year in Division I. We won
right.
What was that conference called?
Mid-Con.
The Mid-Con Conference, right? We won it with Division II guys that were recruited. Mm-hmm. The top of Division II is as good as many now, night in and night out, because of size and things like that. But there are a lot of really, really good players. I mean, the point guard at Iowa that's going to be All-Americans was a Division II player who went to Drake. Was it Drake that they went? And now Iowa, right? I mean, he was, I forget his name, but he's one of the best players in the country. 6'3" shooter they got that's a point guard. And he was, 2 years ago, he was in Division II. There's a lot of really good players.
Players everywhere, Camp, right? Yeah, there's absolutely players everywhere. Last 2 minutes or so of the show. What do you have, Camp? What do you got for us?
I don't know, man. I'm tired. Talking too much.
What do you think of Sergei Fedorov getting his number retired?
I wasn't there. I saw that you were.
Yeah.
But, I live right by there, and I took the dogs for a walk at 5 o'clock last night. I didn't tell you about that. But I took them for a walk because they need to walk. And I walked down past Little Caesars and back, and it was packed. It was cool as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, a Red Wings jersey everywhere. Some guys come walking up to me, and why you have that number? Why don't you have 91 on tonight? And conversation. There were so many people down there. And then I heard what he said. I think, his English is getting better, and it was an interesting conversation. But to get Yzerman to cry, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. It just, when I was sitting there, I was thinking about it and just like how special it is, and like the wall at Oakland, and when you have those ceremonies, man, if you're getting your number or your banner raised or whatever, it means you had some pretty special, pretty special times. What's that like? What's that like for you as a coach when you have a player and you honor them and you put the banner up?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the pinnacles of what we do in our business is to see success from your players and to see them coming back. The last one was Kay Felder and none before him. To watch them walk out onto the floor, dressed up, older, the pride that they had, the pride they have in Oakland, that's the pinnacle of it. That's why we do what we do.
All right, Camp. Well, we ran right up to it, man. Good job there, Camp, at the end. Good landing of the plane.
Obviously, I didn't go overboard on the questions this week because we had 2 minutes left.
Yep. Yeah. Good job, Vaya. That will do it for this week's episode. Big thank to Bobby Ellman back in our Odyssey studios for the coach Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rowe. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you from Milwaukee on Thursday night. This is the Greg Kampe Show live at